The other big story here at 10 starts with our I-team. One way that law enforcement works to protect and to serve is by getting guns out of the hands of criminals. And we found each year thousands of guns once used by officers are found at crime scenes. CBS News partner up with a nonprofit newsroom called The Trace and The Reveal. And we surveyed 200 police agencies nationwide and found that a majority of them sell their guns when they decide to upgrade their arsenal. Our investigative reporter Brian, who joins us live tonight. Brian, this includes, we know, several police departments right here in our area.
It does, Nicole. Now, obviously, no one wants these guns to end up in the wrong hands. Police departments like Dallas here tell us that they take precautions to prevent that from happening. But some say the only sure way to know that a retired police gun doesn't end up at a crime scene later on is to destroy that gun. And we found that's not what North Texas police departments do. When concerns about crime were raised in the West 7th District, the Fort Worth Police Department deployed extra officers and added technology. As a result, last year, officers seized 115 illegal guns in the area. Fort Worth Police sends its confiscated weapons to Midlothian Steel Mill to be melted. But when it comes to disposing the department's own guns, that's a whole different story. When Fort Worth police officers need a weapon upgrade, the department does not destroy their old guns. Instead, it trades them in to a gun dealer. The CBS News Texas I-team found this to be a common practice among North Texas police departments. In these trade-in agreements, departments receive credit towards new firearms, which police point out saves taxpayer dollars. Dealers then sell these former police guns to individuals who've passed a federal background check. However, the journey of these guns doesn't always end there. A gun can be stolen. It can be resold in a private transaction that doesn't require a background check. Plus, even with a background check, there's no guarantee a gun later on won't be used in a crime. Federal law limits access to gun trace data, making it nearly impossible to figure out where a particular gun comes from. But our colleagues at the Center for Investigative Reporting successfully sued the ATF to acquire statistical gun data. No names, just numbers. From those numbers, our investigation found in a 16-year period, 52,000 guns recovered from crimes were previously owned by law enforcement.
People have a right to access guns, for sure, but what we don't want to see is the wrong people getting hold of guns with the wrong purposes.
While in office, former Texas State Representative Lon Burnham of Fort Worth spoke out in favor of gun sale restrictions. In retirement,
talk about immoral behavior by
he hasn't stopped.
Selling weapons back and putting them back on the street.
I think they should be destroying those guns. They're a public good. We should not sell that back into and not know what's going to be the outcome for the use of those guns.
Police departments, and accurately so, will argue that these guns are going to licensed dealers who then require a background check.
We're talking about supply and demand here. The public sector should not be providing the supply.
Online, it's not hard to find used police guns for sale.
Dylan, walking around here, this is kind of crude, but I like people to see the way we get them.
These online gun dealers did not respond to our requests for interviews. But in YouTube videos they've posted, they pitch the advantages of buying a former law enforcement gun, highlighting cost savings and collector's interest.
I think that's one of the cooler things about getting anything that's an LEO trade-in in general.
North Texas's 3 major police departments, Dallas, Arlington, and Fort Worth, have confirmed trading in their old service weapons to gun vendors during the purchase of new firearms. While Dallas and Arlington have not disclosed the number of guns traded, Fort Worth records reveal over 2,400 firearms have been exchanged with private dealers since 2011. If the Fort Worth Police Department stopped trading in their old service weapons, what difference would that make?
It's a statement. It's a statement that we are not going to continue to be a part of the problem. We are trying to be a part of the solution. We've got this glut of guns out there anyway, but if the public sector is saying that's okay, then that just feeds the culture of violence that we all live in and suffer from.
Dallas, Arlington, and Fort Worth police departments all declined our request for interviews about this subject, but in emails, the departments did tell us that retiring officers also have the option to purchase their old weapons. Nicole, once that retired officer has purchased his weapon, he is free to do with what he wants with it, including selling it. In fact, our national investigative team identified a case where a retiring Kentucky officer had purchased his old weapon. He then later on sold it. That gun ended up being recovered at a crime scene in New York.
But important to note, Brian, nothing illegal is happening here, but a very interesting look at how these guns are traced. Thank you so much.